link, http://goldstreak.io, and join the Discord if you choose to. This will be under this stream the whole time and under the YouTube video. So I'm going to start from the top of my watch list, and I'm doing it on Bitcoin. Okay, I labeled this long. It's come up, right? If you did take that long, I would probably kill it off. You're coming up to your first MA. That's more significant. But the real point here is that you're coinciding with all of these areas. Oh, wrong tool. You're coinciding with this new resistance. Okay, so it's been broken through, it becomes resistance. And you've got a level, a very minor level here. I wouldn't be surprised if you do break through that, but nonetheless, I would take off the gains. Yes, you could get something like this, slightly higher, but you've already got the majority. You could actually drop your time frame down and set a in-the-money stop loss. Okay, if you're going to do that, I would put it around something like this. Okay, around there, perhaps. Because you can dip under these MAs, but that would be okay. Otherwise, just kill it off. Okay, you've got rejection here. You're seeing a similar thing now. You've got money on the table. If you had it long all the way down here, you've got a phenomenal move. There's no good in guessing. You know, I want to hold this till I'm a billionaire. Don't trade like that. Just exit when you've got the money and rebuy when you choose to. Okay, and you won't have an issue. So Bitcoin, I'm not particularly confident shorting it because it's a HVA, but I would be killing off your longs. If you do trickle down here, that is as far as you would really need to go for me to get anything to the long side. So if the sentiment in the market today does pull you down and down over the next few days, probably, then I'd prefer it long down here. And that would coincide with what would look basically like a downtrend. Whether we'll actually get a continued downtrend from this is another question. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't, because the sentiment around Bitcoin is fairly sharp, but things are changing up, and there are, if you read in the news, more economic issues or fears coming along. So I basically would hold off buying it until you get 24.3, and I would kill off any longs you've got, and that's how I would trade Bitcoin. Ethereum, I called it long, and I said exit early because you're going to jitter around these levels to the left. They all have to be broken down, okay? And that's exactly what you've got. Now, you can see this push up is not strong, okay? It's really important to understand very early on what kind of price action you're dealing with, because if you have a rebound and it's weak, it often tells you a lot about where you're going to go. So if you took it long, I'd be out of it. You know, it might come higher, but again, you've got gains. You've got gains on the table. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you do get something like that and you come up to this 200 MA about 19.15. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But if you've taken it long, you've got those gains, just kill it off. You're out. Or if you really want to, you can use an ITM in the money stop loss. Okay? So I would just avoid trading it basically at the moment because it's a bit ugly. But nonetheless, I should think if you do beat that low, you'll probably start to crumble into all these other areas. And again, they'll have to be broken down. So that's where I've just drawn that red line there and then in there again. Okay. Probably more feasible is going to be this 1735. I would be looking long there lightly. Okay. We're trading HVAs lightly because they have inherent risk. Go to your monthly. It's not very old. 2020 to now, it's not long. And you can see, again, if you look at that monthly price rejection, does that look strong to you to the upside? The answer really should be no. And that's because it's not, okay? It's not strong to the upside. There isn't enough sentiment around Ethereum. Every single thing that happens, like the Shanghai update or whatever, you know, it doesn't cause something like this. And it won't, because the global economy is not at a point where it's comfortable enough for people to invest in crypto. They want to buy food. Okay, they're more interested in buying food at the moment than having enough money for basic necessities. People aren't interested in crypto that much. Gold, my bias remains as always short. Okay, with just shorting these highs again, I think you'll probably push around here for a little while. I mean, you might get a big change today, but nonetheless, anything around here, again, it's just a short. It's a natural short zone. That is short, and it always will be. Okay, so I would need it, just looking at lower time frames than the 4 hour, you can see you've already had a slight move to the downside. Although it's very lackluster, you have slowly crept. You could take a light short perhaps if it pushes up to here, but really anything significant, okay, I much prefer, and I'm going to move this really annoying toolbar out of the way, I much prefer shorting it up here in line with the other price action areas that are very significant. Okay. If you beat that 2046 high, I wouldn't be surprised. But light shorts here and normal size, I would go for up to that 2040 area. Anything long there's a short. So AUD yen, I did a post yesterday. I said, I think you're just going to keep trickling. Okay. You can see that's the case now. On the weekly, you are resting on 100 MA. That is a light long. Okay, nothing heavy. That's a light long. But more significant really is under here. If you're a risk-averse trader or if you're an investor and you can hold off, I would plan to get it long there. When that's going to happen is another question. But I'm just saying that because you've seen this downtrend pull down and down and down, and it beats every low. Okay. So you've got a far better chance of not buying early than if you buy early now. Okay. So you've also got all this price action to the left. You've got it on the weekly. You've got it on the monthly. Okay. I much prefer that 85.5. That is my kill zone, if you like. 85.45, I would say. And again, that just coincides with the natural market move. Okay. Which is this. This is how things operate. They move in channels. They come up, they come down. People buy, people sell. Okay, it's much easier to trade that way. And just like I said, when you do get this low, it's probably going to coincide somewhat with the bottom of the channel again. And it's not a coincidence. Okay. 85 area perhaps might be more feasible. But you'd need a bigger shift all at once. I'm going to go to the chat box. Morning, Chris. Great to have you. Great to see you. If you got any questions, put them in. If anyone else has any questions today, please put them in the chat box. Do press the boost button there. Do click the link and get started. There's tons you can get on with. And questions really would be fantastic at this point, I think. But someone did ask me specifically about dollar CAD. And dollar CAD, I said about shorting. Yesterday, I said, okay, let it come up to, not there, let it come up to around this area. Okay, this was ideal for shorts. I said that on yesterday's stream. Okay, and you've come up to it, and you can see you're now peeling away. Now, the thing with the dollar CAD at the moment, it is a good, that short zone was great. Okay, and you've now got 136.4 to 136.16. Okay, but there's a lot of early price action with this, which is what a lot of people fail with when they trade. I mean, this is a massive lesson I actually had to learn myself. You're looking for this to fall. Absolutely, you've got that in your rise up from 14th of April, solid green candles. You've got that with your stochastic oscillator. We know that's a short. And as we looked, it's a 0.618 fib, I believe. Yeah, exactly 0.618 fib. So market values there, you can see that's a high price, but it's when it starts to fall, you need to look at previous price action levels. Now, ultimately, I think you'll get 135.70. Okay, so another 40 pips. But, you might jitter between then. So I would trade it in stages. I would swap to your 5-minute, 15-minute. Okay, and you're looking for things like this. All right, this is how you want to trade it. And the chap who asked me about this yesterday, this is for you. more or less. But we trade in stages. Okay, again, coming back to that natural movement of the market, it's a channel. Okay, markets move like this on purpose. It's not an accident. You see, if I draw a channel, it just looks like what we looked at on the ord. So that's why you want to trade the same way. I mean, things will go in the straight line every now and then. Okay, very, very infrequently. But the rest of the time, you will just get, your movement. Even this is an oscillation. Look, up, down, up. Okay, so I think you'll get lower on that dollar CAD. We did actually call the entry really well yesterday. Okay, so if you took that, great work. Thanks a lot, Mona Valette. I've seen you a few times. Welcome. If you can like this, guys, it'd be fantastic. Have you got any questions, guys? Anyone in this live stream, you got a question, just drop it in the chat box. If you're watching this later, drop it in the comments underneath, and I'll get round to it. Do you keep hearing me pause? I've got a bit of a sore throat. I'm just got a coffee here. So for those guys who asked me about the euro, what you can see is you had an early fall. I said you could lightly short it, yes. If you didn't choose to, that's fine, because what you now have is this really harsh candle to the upside. And as I've said, I think for weeks now, literally weeks, I've said this, I think you will get slightly higher. Okay, don't buy it because it's too high. You don't have market value there, but I think you will get slightly higher coming into that 111 zone. And you've got your 200 MA. So technically, that's a really good area. And I think perhaps, you might even get it today. Maybe, there's no certainty on the news. But if the news pushes it up, I would probably plan to get short 1117. Okay, I'd plan ahead and I'd look for that short. And again, over the long term, the mid to long term, if you like, what we're looking for is the same as what I was saying before. Okay, this is a really thin price channel. This is almost a straight line. But you can see that we literally have this really slender up movement. And that area I just labeled coincides with the midpoint of the channel. Okay, so there'll be traders who are preparing for the top end of the channel and some who are the mid. But that is still a good short. You don't literally have to follow everything by the letter to the edge of every single channel. Okay, you don't have to do that constantly, but it will help your trading. So you can see you coincide with the midpoint, and I'd be looking for something like this, I should think, back here, 109,850. But when we get there, you'll see that. But nonetheless, I'm short higher up, and I think you've got room to run. Oil, guys, both of you at the same time. Absolutely. Sure, no worries. I can do that now. So oil is much the same, actually, as what I've been saying for a while. I would deem this a no trade. You might get away with I would do like 1/10 of your normal size. Okay, it's not the best setup. I do prefer it 74.5 though. So if you do trickle, no pun, trickle slightly lower, then it's all right. Just because the stochastic's low doesn't mean you have to rush in. You can always go slightly lower, but the tech zone here is more feasible for me. So 73.5, that is. Something around where I've drawn that eclipse. Okay, because you've got a minor PA level there. You've got slightly more PA underneath, but you do have rejection and areas where you've seen price bounce many times. Okay, so you could even have a front runner at this point, which is what I do, a light size. And then you could put slightly more in here, but I don't like the setup for oil at the moment. I would only look to plan for the future to the short side. So any longs, I would make them light because there's risk in the market. There's no clear PA. It's there, but you can see how weak this is. Okay. So you think it's still bearish? Well, this is the thing, right? People say, this is really good you raised that, because people say this all the time to me and they get a bit confused. This is a bear market, okay? Now, when people say, I think it's still bearish, they're basically saying, okay, well, I think the bear market is going to continue. Now, that might be right, but at the end of every bear market becomes a bull market. Okay, so when you say it's bearish, you're basically saying it's coming down, and anyone can see that. That's obvious, but don't get too mixed up, because if you say something's bearish when you should be buying it, it's going to cause a few issues. Mark Russell, absolutely. Go ahead. Yeah, shoot. Chuck it in. And yeah, sure. Anyone coming in, there's tons of people just flooded in here. If you press the like, and do get started with myself, because you will change your trading. Okay, it's free to start. Just go under there. Mark, if you just drop your pound yen question there. So oil, as I say, if you're referring to something as bearish, you're basically looking at a chart and saying that is bearish, okay? And that is bullish. But a lot of people say to me, they say, oh, that market, that setup or where the price is basically is bearish. Some people say to me, okay, well, this is bearish. $60 a barrel is bearish. But I would say, well, it's bearish in the sense the market's come down, but you should be bullish, okay? And that is where there's a dangerous confusion. You can always read something that looks like it's bearish, but you should be the opposite a lot of the time. That is how markets work. That's why people lose money. That's why people make money. One side is bullish when they should be, and one side is bullish when they shouldn't be, and vice versa for the bearish side. So when I called this long, I had people saying to me, well, it's bearish, it's bearish, it's bearish. Well, the market was trickling down. It was bearish, but you can't live your life saying something's bearish, because it's going to be bullish eventually. Okay? Just like it was here and throughout the whole of history on absolutely any asset you want to pick. Something that you can call it bearish, but you should be bullish, basically. So I avoid using the terms, because otherwise it can mess things up a bit. Mark, I don't know if you had a specific question about the pound yen, but I'll just open up the chart anyway. Thanks for asking. So the pound yen, starting on the monthly, you can see a little bit of rejection here. You had the same rejection over here. Remember, I'm using my eyes and my brain to look back in the market. Where has this happened before? Where is that rejection? And how can I make a further educated and informed decision based on the history of a price chart? The only thing you, and everyone in between can agree on is exactly what we can both see right now. And that's why people say to trade facts, okay? Because facts really don't lie. And exactly what I've drawn, labeling all those price areas, is exactly what is under this video in that link, okay? The next day movement for the pound yen. Well, as I said, on the monthly, you're hitting into key PA levels. So you've already had rejection. You probably missed that short or the entry. I like it slightly higher. Short. Okay, you're asking for the next day, so I will drop my time frame. The monthly is not going to be incredibly relevant for that. So the pound yen, and I did actually make this call. I remember I did make the call on this short, but I said as well, you're going to get stuck really early on because of these price action areas. It's absolutely no surprise that happens, okay? This is how markets work. You hit levels that were hit before and they bounce away, okay? Now, if you want the next day movement, I flick to the 4 hour and you can see you pushed up from here. Again, no surprise, it happens again from these 3 points. 1, 2, 3. But on the third try, you can see you're already getting price rejection. So I wouldn't be surprised if you do pull down. However, I would not short that yet. It's just too low. Okay. If you look at the previous move up and then down, you're not even halfway on that. So I would leave it. If you wanted to trade this, I would literally just hold off of it until you get sort of here at least. Okay. I'm not saying to sell it now, but I would hold off until you get there. If you do really want to sell it, I would put your time frames up, as I said, to the monthly, and I would look for 175. Okay. Eventually. That is where you're going to get the best value to the short side in the next move. If you get there, okay? If you don't get there, you don't lose any money. If you really want to short it desperately, you will probably get price rejection somewhere up here. So for the most recent move, okay, because I think that's what you're referring to, this looks like it's getting rejected early. You're coming up to these key MAs. I wouldn't be surprised if you get to here, okay, and you could short at that point. But I literally would just hold off trading it for now because you haven't got the best price action to deal with. So yeah, that's my bias on the pound yen. Okay, it looks weak basically. If you do get something like this and it's really slow and sluggish and it takes ages, and then you get up there, okay, maybe later today, possibly, you might be able to get short. But nonetheless, if you don't get up there, I just wouldn't be short at the moment because you don't have enough margin. Okay, there's not a lot of room there. So I would basically not trade the pound yen at the moment. If you have a position live and you wanted my opinion on that, then do let me know. But more or less somewhere along here, you're going to, you're looking weak, and I think you'll probably come down. So has anyone got any questions, guys? Any more? Anything really about trading or about any chart you want to look at? Lots of the yens I called recently. Okay, you're coming down. New Zealand yen, I like that lightly long. Here in New Zealand, someone asked me about, and I said yesterday, don't short it yet because you've got more room. So hopefully you followed that. And you'll probably get, if you swapped your lower time frames, you'll probably get early entry confirmation along here coming into this level. So you can start to scale in just over 1.8, I would say. That's my bias again. Euro, I'd hold off. Pound, I'd hold off until you get higher. Really just awaiting the news. Anyone who asked me about the FTSE yesterday, you had a fall. I called it in the Discord. I said exit now. Hopefully you did because it's come up. Okay, and again, as lots of you know, I'm just hedging on the FTSE anyway. My next target is 7, 8, 11 for longs. And I've just exited a hedge long on this. Okay, so I think that is about it, unless anyone has anything else. No, not at the moment. If you can hit the boost, guys, that'd be fantastic. It really helps me show up. Just press the boost if this has helped. Get my training here. You can get started for free. Okay, it will change your trading. I've been trading for a long time. I'm very accurate on TradingView, as you probably will have known if you followed me for a while. We get things right a lot. And just come in the Discord and have a chat. Okay, if you want to come and chat and ask questions, be in a community of other people, just press that. And I've got tons for free on YouTube as well. So change your trading today, guys. Do not. Yeah, I can see that, Mark. Let me just finish that off for you. As I say, if you go under the video, you'll be able to trade pound yen quite well because these are the exact rules. Yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you do pull down. Okay, but like you said, you obviously shorted too early. Just be careful with that. Okay, if you have to exit that short, I would probably make sure you do it lower. But you definitely, and as I say, I would strongly suggest you do get in the academy. That is not a short if you shorted there. It really isn't. But anyway, thanks for coming, guys. Hope that really helps. Please do click the like, press the boost, click the link, get started, and I'll see you soon. Come along to the next live stream. Step your trading up, and remember, just don't go mad. Don't guess the news. Don't over leverage. Trading is all about keeping your wrists tight. Okay, so make sure your emotions never take over. Thanks for watching, guys.